Welcome to Headline Simsbury. I'm Karen Handville. A free outdoor community yoga event will be held on Friday, June 21st at the Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge. Classes will be ongoing throughout the day. The classes are for all ages and abilities. For more information, you can contact Shelley at 860-965-9995. St. Catherine's Church on Stratton Brook Road will be sponsoring a giant tag sale on Saturday, June 22nd from 8:30 to 4 p.m. and Sunday the 23rd from noon to 2. You early birds can begin at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday, where you'll find household items, holiday decorations, books, tools, jewelry, wooden furniture, children's toys, and maybe a treasure or two. Proceeds benefit programs at the church. Lisa Gray will explain what you should think about during your first 24 hours of a vacation on Travel Talk.
Hi, I'm Lisa Gray, your host for Travel Talk. With the busy summer travel season fast approaching, I thought I'd share some important tips for making the most of your vacation right from the start. Because having a plan for getting things done and getting your trip truly underway upon arrival can set the tone for your entire vacation. So first, plan your exit on the way in. The best time to figure out the fastest and easiest way out of an area is on your way in. After you get off the plane, scope out the airport layout and amenities. Note how far it is from the car rental counter to the terminal, as well as a good place to buy gas to fill up your tank before returning your vehicle. Look for street names and exit numbers to thread your way back to the rental counter or terminals. And when you check in at your hotel, ask about check-out times and see if you can leave without stopping at the front desk. Next, get a bite to eat. One of the first things most travelers will need to do upon arriving in a new place is eat. And many end up grabbing whatever is available, whether it's room service or fast food. But with Yelp, Urban Spoon, TripAdvisor, and many other listing sites and apps out there, you can get ahead of this one very easily. Do a little research ahead of time to find a decent nearby restaurant for your first meal upon arrival. You're often tired and hungry, so aren't ready to go to that one really great place you want to try on your trip. But neither do you want to spend time looking for some place and wind up settling for junk precisely because you're tired and hungry and just want food. Of course, in some cases, fast food will just have to do. Then, reset your watch. If you change time zones while traveling, you'll want to assume the daily rhythms of the new zone immediately, right down to the type of food you eat. If it's morning, go have tea or coffee and breakfast foods, and try to avoid the urge to take a nap. If it's evening, have a proper dinner. If it's nighttime, maybe a cocktail and a snack. Don't succumb to the urge to stay on your old schedule, especially for your most ingrained habits. Then, charge your electronics. When you arrive in your room, the first thing you want to do is whip out all your electronic devices, make sure you can plug them in if you're traveling internationally, and put a full charge on them. Before you leave for an international destination, check to see if your hotel has the correct voltage to run your electronics. That's 120 volts in the US. And if not, be sure to purchase the appropriate adapter before you go. Having your laptop or camera bail out on you right after you arrive can make the normal hassles of traveling overwhelm the first promising hours of your trip. Next, secure your valuables. The place you stow your most valuable items during a flight, maybe in your carry-on or in your coat pocket, may not be the safest place for the duration of your trip. If you're traveling with any especially valuable items, secure them right away upon arrival, whether in the safe in your room or buried deep in your socks or wherever you prefer to do it. Then, let someone know you arrived and where you are, especially if you're traveling alone, but even if not, it's a good idea to let someone close to you know that you arrived safely. You should also tell him or her how to get in touch with you if needed by providing them with your hotel phone and room number, your preferred traveling email address, and your cell phone number if you're using it. Next, get outside. When you visit a new place, the light is different, the air is different, and your entire sense of the world can be different. After spending hours in parking lots, airports, planes, shuttle buses, and rental car garages, put down all your stuff and get out the door. Take a walk, Familiarize yourself with the surroundings and get some fresh air and exercise. Do this again the morning after you arrive. Getting yourself out into the sunlight alerts your brain and body to what time of day it is and lets them know that you're done sitting on planes and ready to have some fun. But keep your caffeine addiction in check. Let's face it, a very large percentage of us have a caffeine addiction of some type. Getting this under control and on track as quickly as possible is going to be critical in adjusting your biological clock to match your new surroundings. If you mess it up early on, it can take days to correct and even exact a toll on your overall enjoyment of your trip. Anyone with a coffee habit of any merit knows the consequences of having a strong cup of coffee at the wrong time of day. If it's 7 a.m. in your hometown, but late in the day at your new destination, you know that giving your body the Java fix it's demanding will wreak havoc on your sleep that night and your energy the next day. But you also know you can't go completely without. Try substituting a sugarless cola. With less than 50 milligrams of caffeine in most colas, it may be enough to push back headaches and cravings, but not so much that it'll ruin your sleep. Then when you get up the next day, get out of the room, into the morning sunlight, and hit the caffeine hard. This combination can often reset your internal clock almost in an instant. You may have a different approach, and an evening cup of coffee may have little effect on some people. But you want to put a strategy into play before you find yourself lying awake in the dark on a midnight caffeine jag. Or a simpler solution, wait until your first morning to drink your first strong cup of coffee. Now remember, take lots of pictures. An amateur photographer I know always dedicates the first few hours of a trip to taking a lot of photos. She noticed some time ago that her eye was always freshest when she first arrived in a new place, and she'd notice things in the first few hours that she might ignore after a few days. And always carry your camera with you. You never know when you'll see something magical. Finally, check the weather. It seems almost too simple, but countless travelers get ambushed by bad weather, and a thoughtful weather check can really assist your overall planning. Hopefully, before even leaving home, you've checked the forecast for the first few days of your stay, but once you arrive, check the long-term forecast for your stay, which will help you decide when to schedule outdoor versus indoor activities, whether you'll need to pick up gear that you didn't pack, and how to cope with any truly plan-wrecking weather events. I'm Lisa Gray, and this has been Travel Talk. Do you have anything you make sure you do in the first 24 hours of a trip? I'd love to hear about it. You can reach out to me at 860-305-0605 or traveltalent@comcast.net. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like Travel Talent on Facebook for more great travel tips.
This year, the Performing Arts Center on Iron Horse Boulevard will feature 3 summer concerts in addition to the well-known Talcott Mountain Music Festival series by the Hartford Symphony Orchestra. The first concert of the season will be Harry Connick Jr. on Saturday, June 22nd at 8 p.m. An important distinction needs to be made in order for everyone to have an enjoyable experience at this venue. The Performing Arts Center concerts are put on by the performers' promoters, so the rules are different from the Talcott Mountain Music Festival series concerts regarding food and beverages. It's important to note that coolers, food and beverages will not be allowed in the gate at the PAC concerts. The promoters of the PAC events will have food and beverage vendors in the venue. Just like you aren't able to bring your own food and beverages to a concert at the XL Center, for example. You can check this out for yourself on the Town of Simsbury's website to read about and clarify any questions you may have about this policy. Purchasing tickets for the PAC concert series is also a different process. You can purchase online at Ticketmaster.com or by phone at 800-745-3000. The no food or beverages policy also applies to the other 2 PAC concerts with Emmylou Harris and Rodney Crowell and Peter Frampton. This year's Talcott Mountain Music Festival series with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra begins with Mozart in the Moonlight on Friday, June 28th at 7:30 p.m. with a rain date of Saturday, June 29th. Stephen Lipset will conduct this first concert with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra principal cellist Jeffrey Krieger performing. Food and beverages and coolers are allowed into this concert and all Talcott Mountain Music Festival concerts. To purchase tickets or for more information, you can contact the Hartford Symphony Orchestra Ticket Services at 860-244-2999 or online at hartfordsymphony.org. Melissa Brett will tell us how to deal with moles, the critter type.
Hello, my name is Melissa Brett. My husband John and I own and operate Weldon Hardware here in the center of Simsbury on Station Street. Today, I would like to share with you some various ways to control and rid your lawn of moles. No matter how harsh or mild the winters may be, moles don't hibernate, nor do the worms they eat. The moles follow worms deep into the ground as both try to avoid freezing. Most of the moles' deeper and older tunnels remain comfortable throughout the winter. Winter damage by moles usually occur during unseasonably warm periods or beneath the insulation of heavy snow. You should also know that moles are not rodents. They are insectivores. Its diet is restricted to ground invertebrates such as grubs, millipedes, ants, and the like. However, the mole's primary food source is the earthworm. So trying to control white grubs and lawn insects is not the ultimate protection for mole activity. But grub control is important because grubs cause other types of destruction to your lawn. Lawn damage from mole activity and tunneling may take several forms. The surface tunneling separates the grass roots from the soil. Besides leaving a mushy or soft feeling when stepped on, the separated roots cause yellowing and dying patterns in the lawn. Exposed soil along the tunnel ridges allows blowing seeds to propagate. Crabgrass often grows along the mole tunnels. Deep tunneling, represented by mounding and bulging of soil, will also cultivate weed growth. Now, there are many products on the market, almost at an overwhelming selection. Before you even look at the shelves, first decide what means you want to pursue in order to rid you and your lawn of moles. You can either repel them, use a poison, or trap them. With the research we have done, trapping is the most effective. But with any of these methods, you will need to stay diligent on your hunt. Moles are persistent, and the number of tunnels are not directly related to the number of moles. Although they are primarily solitary animals, they are more active in the springtime for mating. Also, more established runs can be used by more moles than one, kind of like a highway system. There are deterrents, either in a liquid or granular form, that are primarily castor oil based. These are limitedly effective, and you have to apply the product multiple times and in such a way as to drive the moles away from your property. The castor oil gets onto the mole's fur and skin and irritates them. But if the mole runs are deeper in the ground, this type of mole control will not work. Now, there are different mole and bait and poisons. Remember, moles are insectivores, so they can't chew hard pellets very well. Choose a bait that is soft, almost the consistency of an earthworm or a grub. Never touch the bait with your bare hands, as moles can sense human scent and may not take the bait. You will need to insert the bait into an active mole tunnel by either slitting the tunnel with a knife or making a small hole, no larger than a broom handle. Now, in order to find an active mole tunnel, take the time to step on all the mounds in your lawn, noting approximately where those tunnels are. Within a few days, the most active tunnels should reappear. But note, there are two types of tunnels moles use: surface tunnels and permanent tunnels. The surface tunnels are more shallow tunnels and are used for exploratory and gathering purposes. Now, the deep permanent tunnels are often run along roots and man-made structures, foundations, and fences. And a little trivia, a mole's surface tunnel can be dug on average of 18 feet per hour. Now, trapping is the most effective means of ridding your lawn of moles. Step down all the tunnels like I mentioned, And once you see active tunnels reappear, set a trap over each of those tunnels. Mole traps do look very menacing, but are the most effective. A few common trapping mistakes is that people try to trap at the end of a tunnel or a hole opening. That will not work. Try to set the trap in the middle of the run. Also, follow the trap instructions closely, as if you set the trap too shallow in the lawn, the mole will just tunnel under that trap. Also, if your trap goes off, don't always expect the mole to be caught in that trap. About half the time the mole is wounded and will not be in your trap, but be just a few feet away from it. And finally, if you see a lot of mole activity in your neighbor's yard, inevitably they will make tunnels in your yard, unless you have a fence at least 2 feet below the property line. They don't pay attention to the imaginary property borders that we humans do. If you have a question or topic that you would like featured on a segment, let us know. Visit our website at www.weldonhardware.com. I look forward to the next edition of Headlines Simsbury. Remember, we are at your service. Thank you, and God bless.
An open house celebration is planned by the Board of Trustees and Friends of the Simsbury Public Library to honor Sue Bullock in her upcoming retirement. The informal event will take place on Sunday, June 23rd from 2 to 4 p.m. with presentations beginning at 3 p.m. on the lawn of the library. If there is inclement weather, the festivities will be held in the program room on the lower level of the library. This free event is open to everyone and reservations are not necessary. State Representative John Hampton applauds the recent passage of Senate Bill number 960, an act authorizing municipalities to protect historic properties and districts. This enabling legislation allows municipalities the option of creating local historic preservation commissions with the power to determine if local landmarks should be historically preserved. Representative Hampton, one of the bill's co-sponsors, noted that this law will allow municipalities without historic districts to identify and preserve the heritage of their communities. It is a great idea brought forward by one of Simsbury's most dynamic advocates, Simsbury's former First Selectman, Anita Mealert, who currently serves as the president of the Connecticut Preservation Action, Planning, and Development Commission. Mealert testified on behalf of Senate Bill 960 back at the public hearing in March, stating that some towns do not have a recognized historical district and thusly have trouble getting individual homes with a unique history of construction, ownership, residency, or event to be recognized as a historic home. The legislation also clarifies the way towns can request certain government-provided benefits associated with restoring or protecting homes of this nature. Hampton also commented that Mrs. Mealert has done a fantastic job leading the charge on historic home preservation and is thankful to constituents like her for championing these types of changes to existing law that will help smaller municipalities. Paul Mikkelson and John Carty are back to remind you about the Bike the Valley event on June 22nd.
Paul, how are you?
John, great to see you again today.
You too, you too. I think it was a couple of months since we were here last.
Yes.
Talking about Bike the Valley.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so
Yep.
we are about 1 month away.
1 month, exactly, because it's Saturday, June 22nd.
Perfect. So I thought it would be a good time for maybe an update.
Appreciate it, John.
All right, good.
Thank
good.
you.
So before we talk about Bike the Valley, talk to me a little bit about Valley Cycling.
Well, Valley Cycling got started a couple years back, really to promote road safety and family wellness. We meet at the Dunkin' Donuts in Granby Monday and Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock, and Saturday and Sunday mornings, usually about 8. Some people go off at 7 o'clock Saturday mornings. And we're trying to have all the cyclists obey the rules of the road and try to teach things to the, motorists, the 3-foot law, give us 3 feet and so forth.
You've got quite a crew. I see you guys out riding quite a bit.
It's a nice group of people, and one thing led to another where Marcy, the executive director at the Y, and yourself on the YMCA Board of Directors of Farmington Valley Y, asked Valley Cycling to coordinate a bike program, which led to our Bike the Valley again Saturday, June 22nd.
Talk to me about Bike the Valley. What's going to happen?
It's your typical nonprofit ride, John. It's going to be at Camp Chase, which is a phenomenal venue for this type of program. Because Camp Chase on Route 4 between Collinsville and Unionville. They have a swimming pool, we're going to have showers, they have pavilions and things. So it's going to be food, it's going to be a wellness festival. But basically it's a bike ride where folks can come out, families and your hardcore riders can come out and do 5 or 10 miles on Rails to Trails. And the neat thing is, Rails to Trails are right across the street from Camp Chase.
That's fantastic. So it's a nice trail, it's a nice safe ride, it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
away
great.
from the traffic. Again, the 5 and 10 miles. Farmington River's right there. It's super scenic. It's flat, so the families can really get involved with that ride.
If you wanted to have a younger rider come out to ride the 5, is that
Come
acceptable?
on out.
Yeah.
If mom, dad thinks they can do 5 miles, come on out. We're going to have a little bike rodeo for the younger kids.
That's great.
If they want to bring their 3-wheeler, training wheel bike, we're going to have the police there. They're going to show them how to ride safely and so forth.
That's fantastic.
And then for the hardcore guys like yourself and Karen and people, you know, they can do the 25-mile route. They can do the 50-mile route. They can ride 100 miles. So everything's in Burlington on Route 4, and it's going to go northwest from there, 25 miles and 50 miles and the 100-mile ride. When they get back, there'll be food. We'll have pasta, salad, bread. We'll have plenty of rest stops on the rides and so forth.
That sounds fantastic. Now, the proceeds from the Bike the Valley event are going to go to
We'll
nonprofits?
go to the nonprofits. Number one, the YMCA Strong Kids campaign for people that can't afford the Y.
That's
You
great.
headed up that program. You know that well, and the
wonderful
community
program.
knows that well.
Yeah.
Strong Kids. The other one, the Live Strong program. Folks that had cancer, they're going through rehab. Money will go for that. The others, I'm happy to say, the Y opened up their door so other nonprofits would get involved, and they learn about Camp Chase, and the public learns about Camp Chase. So you don't even have to ride a bike. Come on up to Camp Chase Saturday, June 22nd. But the other nonprofits, Focus Center for Autism in Canton.
Great.
Focus, great
Fantastic.
school. Wonderful, wonderful school. Gift Autism, come on out. Linda Schofield's ABC House, Simsbury. Inner
Fantastic.
city kids, they go to Simsbury Public Schools, help them out a little bit. New Horizons, 100 people in wheelchairs live there. Help them out. They can't ride a bike. And one of those folks, a couple of them live there because they were hit by a bike, John. So help out New Horizons. Help out the Boy Scout troop, Jerry Yates, Route 76.
Oh, yeah, great
And
cause.
come on out and help those folks out.
So it's a great event, obviously, for people who want to come and enjoy the day, get out and do some exercising and do a bike ride. But it's also a wonderful way to raise money for some of the charities and some of the nonprofits that you just mentioned.
Exactly. And
exciting.
sign up on the Y website, Greater Hartford YMCA. Go to valleycycling.org to get some of the details. And you can also sign up on active.com.
Fantastic.
So folks can go to that. Or just call up the YMCA. You can call them up and just sign up. Maybe ask for Sam, who's staffing this.
Absolutely.
For the
And I think they have applications at the front desk.
Correct.
Good.
Correct. Love to see the public there. Come on out. It's our first year. Come on out, have some fun, and have some food. Make a day of it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing you all.
All right, John.
Paul.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Get out your cell phones, take a walk along Hot Meadow Street, and take a look at what's here from a different perspective. It's more interesting out of the car.
Hi, I am Elizabeth Banco, co-chair of the Simsbury Tourism Committee. I would like to invite you to take a cell phone walking tour of Hot Meadow Street to learn about the history and architecture of our downtown. There are 11 sites currently on the tour, each with a sign and a map, beginning with Webster Bank Building on the south end and finishing with the Simsbury Town Shops to the north. Maps are available at Town Hall and at the library. It's easy to follow. Simply dial 860-323-9029 on your cell phone and follow the prompts. If you find yourself without a phone, There is plenty of information on each sign to read. Some sites, such as Eno Memorial Hall, are landmark buildings on the National Register, while others, such as the Courtyard or Mall Way, was the site of a stable and carriage house for the Ensign estate. This tour was the work of many volunteers, including the Simsbury Tourism Committee, several town hall officials and their summer intern, the Simsbury Chamber of Commerce, the Simsbury Main Street Partnership, and the Simsbury Historical Society. We hope to continue to add more stops and more detailed information about the Historical Society complex and the Simsbury Cemetery, which already has its own walking tour, as well as the various notable trees found along the street. The tour can be used in conjunction with school curricula, special events such as a scavenger hunt, or redesigned with special holiday occasions in mind. Take the cell phone walking tour along Hot Meadow Street and take a stroll back in history.
The National High School Coaches Association has announced the 2013 Academic All-American Wrestling Team, 140 student athletes from across the country, including 3 Simsbury High School seniors, John DePasquale, Benjamin Durst, and Christian Calulade. The members of the all-academic team define what it means to be a student athlete today. They are leaders both on the field and in the classroom, and the future leaders of tomorrow. Coach Ernie Goodwin could not be prouder of his 3 All-American athletes. Quote, "John, Ben, and Christian are excellent examples of the ideals we try to teach all high school athletes. The work ethic, organization, and dedication to produce at a high level in the classroom and on the mat are outstanding. I could not be prouder of all 3. They will be missed at Simsbury High, but have left a great standard for future athletes," unquote. John, Ben, and Christian were also inducted into Simsbury High School's chapter of the National Honor Society. We hope you enjoy watching some of the diverse programming on this channel, your channel, with programming produced by volunteers or sponsored by residents from this community. In other words, programming chosen by the community. SCTV is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides the public educational and governmental channels to the TV subscribers in the town of Simsbury. You're watching the public channel now, and our other channels can be watched on both Comcast and AT&T U-verse and over the internet by going to the SCTV website, simsburytv.org. For Comcast subscribers, our educational and governmental channels are channels 95 and 96, and all 3 channels can be found on channel 99 if you have AT&T U-verse. Since this is your channel, have you ever considered volunteering here? Do you know of any high school students who have the time this summer and might have an interest in volunteering? Whether producing a program or running a camera, our doors are always open. Contact us by email, simtv@yahoo.com, to arrange a time to come down to meet us. That's it for this week. Remember, SCTV is your hometown station where you can produce programs for free. Thank you for joining us.